It was 1961. The Cold War was heating up. The United States had just been humiliated at the Bay of Pigs. And in the White House, a furious young president wanted revenge. His target? A bearded revolutionary who had embarrassed the world's most powerful nation, Fidel Castro. But this wouldn't be a normal war. This would be a secret war fought not with armies, but with sabotage, deception, and assassination plots straight out of a spy thriller. It was called Operation Mongoose, and it was one of the CIA's most audacious, bizarre, and desperate attempts to destroy a foreign leader without ever admitting it existed. April 1961, the Bay of Pigs invasion collapses in chaos. Cuban exiles trained and armed by the CIA are crushed within 3 days. The world learns the truth. Washington tried and failed to overthrow Castro. For the Kennedy administration, it's a disaster. JFK takes public responsibility, but privately, he's seething. He feels betrayed by the CIA's arrogance and humiliated on the global stage. In one meeting, he reportedly tells his brother, Attorney General Robert Kennedy, "We have to do something about Castro." And so, from the ashes of failure, something darker begins to take shape. By late 1961, the CIA is restructured. A new covert project is born under the direction of Air Force General Edward Lansdale, the man once nicknamed America's James Bond. Its mission? Simple on paper, impossible in practice. To help Cuba overthrow the communist regime. Its code name, Operation Mongoose. It wasn't about invading, at least, not yet. It was about undermining Castro from within. Sabotage, psychological warfare, economic pressure, even biological attacks. The operation would use every dirty trick in the book, and then write a few new ones. Operation Mongoose was headquartered in Miami, in a secret complex known as the JM Wave Station. It became the largest CIA base outside of Langley. Thousands of agents, informants, and Cuban exiles were drawn into its orbit. The goals were broken into 32 tasks, each more extreme than the last. They included destroying sugar refineries to cripple Cuba's economy, disrupting transportation networks, inciting rebellions, and, if the opportunity arose, eliminating Fidel Castro himself. This wasn't just a covert operation. It was an underground war machine. Every week, reports flowed from the CIA to Robert Kennedy himself. He demanded results, faster, bigger, louder. JFK's brother was, in many ways, the unofficial commander of Operation Mongoose. Of course, the CIA had already tried to kill Castro more than once. Before Mongoose, there were the infamous mafia plots. Poison pills delivered by mobsters, sniper rifles smuggled into Havana, and yes, the legendary exploding cigar plan. But Mongoose took those ideas and dialed them to 11. Here are just a few examples that sound like pure fiction, but weren't. Castro is known to love scuba diving. The CIA prepared a diving suit dusted with a lethal fungus that would cause a slow, disfiguring disease. They even laced the breathing apparatus with tuberculosis bacteria. It was meant to be a gift from a friend, but the plan fell apart before it could reach him. At one point, the CIA considered contaminating the air in Castro's television studio, hoping to infect him live on camera with a crippling illness. Another idea, a chemical spray to make his beard fall out, humiliating him on national television. The thinking was simple. If you can't kill him, make him look weak. And then there was the booby-trapped seashell. Yes, seriously. Analysts discovered that Castro liked to dive near a particular reef. So the CIA proposed placing an enormous, beautifully painted seashell there filled with explosives. When Castro swam near it, boom, it never made it past the planning stage. The creativity was unmatched, and so was the absurdity. But behind the humor lies something darker. Operation Mongoose wasn't just about one man. It was about destroying an entire country's system quietly, invisibly, without triggering a world war. In 1962, Mongoose shifted into high gear. CIA teams landed on Cuban shores under cover of darkness. Factories mysteriously caught fire. Industrial machinery was sabotaged. Rumors and propaganda spread through underground radio broadcasts. There were attempts to disrupt Cuban shipping and even contaminate crops and livestock. Each operation was designed to make Cuba look chaotic and unstable, to convince the Cuban people that Castro couldn't protect them. And all of it was meant to build toward one goal: a popular uprising that would justify U.S. military intervention. But while the CIA plotted, the Soviets were plotting too. As Operation Mongoose intensified, so did Moscow's determination to protect its new ally. By mid-1962, Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev secretly began deploying nuclear missiles to Cuba. His logic was simple: if the United States was planning another invasion, he needed a deterrent. So when American spy planes discovered the missiles in October 1962, the world came closer to nuclear annihilation than ever before. The Cuban Missile Crisis had begun. It is one of the great ironies of history. The very operation meant to destroy Castro may have been what nearly destroyed the world. During those tense 13 days, the CIA's sabotage missions were still ongoing. In fact, some operations continued even as U.S. naval ships blockaded the island. At one point, a CIA team blew up a Cuban industrial facility during the missile crisis itself, without realizing how dangerously close they were to triggering a nuclear war. Behind closed doors, JFK was furious. He realized he couldn't control his own intelligence agency anymore. When the crisis ended, Kennedy was shaken. He had stared into the abyss and didn't like what he saw. In the months that followed, Operation Mongoose quietly died. Officially, it was suspended. In reality, it was buried. The CIA would still keep eyes on Cuba, but the wild sabotage campaigns ended. The Kennedys had moved on to détente, diplomacy, and new battles elsewhere. But the scars of Mongoose remained. Between 1961 and 1963, Operation Mongoose spawned over 600 documented plots to kill Fidel Castro, a record that may never be broken. Castro himself once joked, "If surviving assassination attempts were an Olympic event, I'd have a gold medal." But behind the humor was a brutal truth. The CIA's obsession with one man and one island almost plunged the planet into nuclear war. And perhaps most ironically, it only made Castro stronger. He used the threat of U.S. aggression to justify his grip on power, rally his people, and deepen Cuba's alliance with the Soviet Union. Operation Mongoose wasn't just a Cold War relic. It was a warning about how far nations will go to shape the world from the shadows. Today, we talk about cyber warfare, election interference, and disinformation campaigns, the new face of covert conflict. But the roots of those modern shadow wars trace back to places like Miami Langley and Havana, where secret wars were born under code names like Mongoose. Because in the Cold War, the most dangerous battles weren't fought in the open. They were fought in whispers, briefcases, and midnight radio signals. Operation Mongoose failed to destroy Fidel Castro, but it succeeded in showing just how far the United States was willing to go to protect its image and its power. In the end, Castro would outlive every U.S. president who tried to kill him. And Operation Mongoose would remain one of the Cold War's strangest and most secret stories, a tale of revenge, espionage, and the thin line between patriotism and paranoia. This was Operation Mongoose, filed, classified, and now reopened. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss another declassified file. See you next time.